Yeah. All right. So looking at them next year, I think if you put together these rosters, you have Severe at the one most likely. You're probably going to
Yep.
have Kason Wallace at the two. Chris Livingston comes in. You got Damian Collins coming back. Jacob Toppin, I believe, declared, but I think he's probably going to end up coming back to school. I can't see him
He
being a
should.
guy that
Yeah.
sticks in the NBA. Keon Brooks,
Right.
it looks like he'll probably end up being back. Correct. Correct me if I'm wrong
I
there.
would
And
think.
then
Yeah, I would think.
yeah. And then you got Oscar Tshiebwe around him. They still, I think, need a couple of pieces, maybe another big time shooter on a
Well,
wing.
CJ Frederick.
Uh,
For
yeah,
CJ Frederick, you didn't mention.
yeah, more help at the four spot, probably, I think, and more help at the point guard spot. But there's pieces in the portal that they can get. But where do you stand right now on this Kentucky team in terms of their ability to go out and win something?
Like Keon Brooks was great, but I think he's great coming off the bench. I think these days you need a stretch format, especially if you're going to play with Oscar. That's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have a four-man whose range is really 12 to 15 feet. You need a four-man that's going to be able to stretch the court that'll work well with Oscar. And that would be my biggest concern with them right now is if you put Keon and Severe out there with Oscar, what does that do to the floor, Rob?
It for people that can't
Yeah.
see, I'm squishing it. It contracts it.
Yes.
You need
Right.
space out
Yeah.
there. You need space.
Yeah. So that's my problem with them is, yeah, you can have CJ Frederick. That's well and good. And if you have Shaden Sharp, he's not an elite shooter. He's an elite scorer. Also not a guy like my guess is as a freshman, if he does come, he's shooting 33, 35% from three.
Where would you put the odds on Sharp being there? Because I'm operating as like 80% chance he's probably gone. Is that about right? Do you think that's too low or too
I don't
high?
know. Yeah, I honestly, I couldn't even begin to. I don't know. All I'll say is if Oscar got 2 million right now, could you somehow provide Shaden Sharp with a number that's even more than that coming in? I don't know if you can because Oscar's already built up enough equity in Lexington, and he's just such a personable. Like that's the thing about Oscar that I don't know if enough people know. But even before the season this year, I was there for media day. I could have talked to that kid all day long. That smile, his just how quotable he is, how much fun he is to be around. That's part of the reason Oscar is going to get paid. Not
Mm-hmm.
it's an inducement, but it's also obviously what he developed and what he earned through his play on the court and his personality off the court. And I think, again, Kentucky's going to be at the highest level of NIL, but I think all these guys that we're talking about, Drew Timme, Hunter, Trace, they're all at big time programs that can get him to that $1 million mark. And I think if you get him to the $1 million mark, as long as they don't hate school, and I think that's part of it, right? Like obviously Kofi was done with school, with the academic part, and he probably felt like, hey, at this point I've done all I could do. Where if you're Hunter Dickinson, you're feeling like, hey, I can take another jump, right? I started taking threes last year. I can take another
Mm-hmm.
jump, and we can compete. Like if you get me, we got some older guys coming in now. They'll bring in a couple of transfers, probably a point guard. Their young guys are a year older. So I think, honestly, I think some guys look at it totally different. I mean, if you're Oscar, what's not to love about college life? What's not to love? Like wherever he goes, he doesn't have to pay for a damn thing in Lexington, and everybody loves him, and he loves it.